Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So today we'll start with the first Shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll start with Pranam Mantra. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroha Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Guruna Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvaitam Savadutam Parijan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padana Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsha नमो विष्णु पादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाशतदेशतारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपीश गोपीकांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी श्री विषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पतरुभिक्षा कृपा सिंधुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today I will start with on the first canto, first chapter, first shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's start. Om namo bhagavate vāsudevāya. Om namo bhagavate vāsudevāya. Om namo bhagavate vāsudevāya. janma-ādi asya yato nvayād itarataś cārtheṣv abhijñaḥ sva-rāṭ tene brahma hṛdā ādi-kavaye muhyanti yathā tejo-vāri-mṛdāṁ yathā vinimayo tri-sargo धाम्ना स्वेन सदा nirasta-kuhakaṁ satyam param dhimahi. Let's read the meanings of this shloka. O my Lord, O my Lord, Namah, offering my obeisances, Bhagavate, unto the Personality of Godhead, Vāsudevāya, unto Vasudeva, the son of Vasudeva, O Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa, the primeval Lord, janma-ādi, creation, sustenance and destruction, asya, of all manifested universes, yathā, from whom, nvayād, directly, itarataś, indirectly, ca, and cārtheṣv, purposes, abhijñaḥ, fully cognizant, svarāṭ, fully independent, tene, imparted, brahma, the Vedic knowledge, hṛdā, consciousness of the heart, yathā, one who, ādi-kavaye, unto the original created being, muhyanti, are illusioned, yathā, about whom, sūrayaḥ, great sages and demigods, tejo, fire, vāri, water, mṛdāṁ, earth, yathā, as much as, vinimayo, action and reaction, yatra, whereupon, tri-sargaḥ, three modes of creation, creative faculties, amrisha, almost factual, dhamna, along with the transcendental paraphernalia, svena, self-sufficiently, sada, always, nirasta, negation by absence, kuhakaṁ, illusion, satyam, truth, paramam, absolute, dhimahi, I do meditate upon. Translation by Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Purport ki jai. O my Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa, son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, Jai Ho. I meditate upon Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa because he is the absolute truth and he is the permeable, primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion. As one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water, only because of him do the material universes, temporarily manifested by the reactions of three modes of nature, appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. Obeisances unto the personality of the Godhead Vasudeva directly indicate Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chandra ki jai. Purport by his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Vasudeva directly indicate Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa, who is the divine son of Vasudeva and Devaki. This fact will be more explicitly explained in the next text of this work. Sri Vyasadeva asserts herein that Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, and all others are his direct or indirect plenary portions or portions of the portion. Srila Jiva Goswami has even more explicitly explained the subject matter in his Krishna Sandarbha, and Brahma, the original living being, has explained the subject of Sri Krishna substantially in his treatise named Brahma Samhita. In Upanishad, in the Samveda, it is also stated that Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa is the divine son of Devaki. Therefore, in this prayer, the first proposition holds that Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa is the primeval Lord. And if any transcendental nomenclature is to be understood as belonging to the absolute personality of Godhead, it must be the name indicated by the word Krishna, which means the all-attractive. In Bhagavad Gita, in many places, the Lord asserts himself to be the original personality of Godhead. And this is confirmed by Arjuna and also by great sages like Narada Muni, Vyasadeva and many others. In the Padma Puran, it is also stated that out of the innumerable names of the Lord, the name of Krishna is the principal one. Vasudeva indicates the plenary portion of the personality of Godhead and all the different forms of the Lord, being identical with Vasudeva, are indicated in this text. The name Vasudeva particularly indicates the divine son of Vasudeva and Devaki. Sri Krishna is always meditated upon by the Paramahamsas, who are perfected ones among those in the renounced order of life. Vasudeva, Lord Sri Krishna, is the cause of all causes. Everything that exists emanates from the Lord. How? This is so explained in later chapters of the work. This work is described by Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai as a spotless Purana because it contains the transcendental narration of the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. The history of the Srimad Bhagavatam is also very glorious. It was compiled by Sri Vyasadeva after he had attained maturity in transcendental knowledge. He wrote this under the instruction of Sri Naradji, a spiritual master. Vyasadeva compiled all the Vedic literatures, containing the 4 divisions of the Vedas, the Vedanta Sutras or the Brahma Sutras, the Puranas, the Mahabharata and so on. But nevertheless, he was not satisfied. His dissatisfaction was observed by his spiritual master, and thus Narada advised him to write on the transcendental activities of Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa. These transcendental activities are described specifically in the 10th canto of this work. But in order to reach to the very substance, one must proceed gradually by developing knowledge of the categories. It is natural that a philosophical mind wants to know about the origin of the creation. At night he sees the stars in the sky, and he naturally speculates about their inhabitants. Such inquiries are natural for a man because man has a developed consciousness which is higher than that of animals. The author of Srimad Bhagavatam gives a direct answer to such inquiries. He says that the Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa is the origin of all creations. He is not only the creator of the universe but the destroyer as well. The manifested cosmic nature is created at a certain period by the will of the Lord. It is maintained for some times and then it is annihilated by his will. Therefore, the supreme will is behind all cosmic activities. Of course, there are atheists of various categories who do not believe in a creator, but that is due to a poor fund of knowledge. The modern scientist, for example, has created space satellites, and by some arrangement or other, these satellites are thrown into outer space to fly for some time at the control of the scientist who is far away. Similarly, all the universes with innumerable stars and planets are controlled by the intelligence of the personality of Godhead. In Vedic literatures, it is said that absolute truth, personality of Godhead, is the chief amongst all living personalities. All living beings, beginning from the first created being Brahma down to the smallest ant, are individual living beings. And above Brahma, there are even other living beings with individual capacities, and personality of Godhead is also a similar living being only. and he is an individual as are the other living beings. But the Supreme Lord or the Supreme Living Being has the greatest intelligence, and he possesses supermost inconceivable energies of all different varieties. If a man's brain can produce a space satellite, one can very easily imagine how brains higher than man can produce similarly wonderful things which are far more superior. The reasonable person will easily accept this argument, but there are stubborn atheists who would never agree. Srila Vyasadeva, however, at once accepts that the Supreme Personal Intelligence as the Parameshvara. He offers his respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Intelligence addressed as the Para or Parameshvara or the Supreme Personality of Godhead itself. And that Parameshvara in Śrī Kṛṣṇa is admitted in Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures delivered by Sri Vyasadeva, and specifically in the Srimad Bhagavatam. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that there is no other Paratattva, Samvam Bonam, than himself. Therefore, Sri Vyasadeva at once worships in the Paratattva, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, whose transcendental activities are described in the 10th canto. Unscrupulous persons go immediately to the 10th canto and especially to the 5 chapters which describe the Lord's Rasa dance. This portion of the Srimad Bhagavatam is the most confidential part of this great literature. Unless one is thoroughly accomplished in the transcendental knowledge of the Lord, one is sure to misunderstand the Lord's worshipable transcendental pastime called Rasa dance and his love affairs with the gopis. The subject matter is highly spiritual, and only the liberated persons who have gradually attained to the stage of Paramhamsa can transcendentally relish this Rasa dance. Srila Vyasadeva therefore gives the reader the chance to gradually develop spiritual realization before actually relishing the essence of the pastimes of the Lord. Therefore, he purposely invokes a Gayatri mantra, Hare Krishna, vinimayo. This Gayatri mantra is meant for spiritually advanced people. When one is successful in chanting the Gayatri mantra, he can enter into the transcendental position of the Lord. One must therefore acquire Brahmanical qualities or be perfectly situated in the quality of goodness in order to chant the Gayatri mantra successfully and then attain to the stage of transcendentally realizing the Lord, His name, His fame, His qualities, and so on. Srimad Bhagavatam is a narration of the swarupa of the Lord manifested by His eternal potency, and the potency is distinguished from the external potency which has manifested in the cosmic world, which is within our experience. Srila Vyasadeva makes a clear distinction between the two in this Shloka. Sri Vyasadeva says here that the manifested eternal potency is real, whereas the external manifested energy in the form of material existence is only temporary and illusory, like the mirage in the desert. In the desert mirage, there is no actual water, right? There is only the appearance of water. Real water is summarized. The manifested cosmic creation appears as a reality, but reality of which this is but a shadow is in the spiritual world, absolute truth, or in the spiritual sky. Not the material sky. In the material sky, everything is ready truth. This is to say, one truth depends on something else. This cosmic creation results from interaction of the three modes of nature, and the temporary manifestations are so created to present an illusion of reality to bewildered mind of conditioned souls, who appears in so many species of life, including the higher demigods like Brahma, Indra, Chandra, and so on. And actually, there is no reality in the manifested world. There appears to be reality, however, because of the true reality which exists in the spiritual world, where the personality of Godhead eternally exists with His transcendental paraphernalia. The chief engineer of a complicated construction does not personally take part in the construction, but he knows every nook and corner because everything is done under his direction. He knows everything about the construction, but both directly and indirectly. Similarly, the personality of Godhead, who is the supreme engineer of the cosmic creation, knows every nook and corner. All the affairs are being carried out by demigods, beginning from Brahma down to the insignificant ant. No one is independent of the material creation. The hand of the Lord is seen everywhere. All material elements as well as all spiritual sparks emanate from Him only, and whatever is created in this material world is but the interaction of two energies, the material and the spiritual, which emanate from the absolute truth, the personality of God, Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Chemist can manufacture water in the chemical laboratory by mixing hydrogen and oxygen, But in reality, the living entity works in the laboratory under the direction of the Supreme Lord, and the materials with which he works are also supplied by the Lord itself. So, the Lord knows everything directly and indirectly, and he is cognizant of all minor details, and he is fully independent. As compared to a mine of a gold, and the cosmic creations in so many different forms are compared to objects made from the gold, such as gold rings, necklaces, and so on. The gold ring and the gold necklace are qualitatively one with the gold in the mine, but quantitatively the gold in the mine is different. Therefore, the absolute truth is simultaneously one and different. Nothing is absolutely equal with the absolute truth, but at the same time, nothing is independent of the absolute truth. Conditioned souls beginning from Brahma, who engineers this entire universe, down to the insignificant end, are all creating, but none of them is independent of the Supreme Lord. The materialist wrongly thinks that there is no creator other than his own self. This is called Maya or illusion. Because of his poor fund of knowledge, the materialist cannot see beyond the pure view of his imperfect scenes, and thus he thinks that matter automatically takes its own shape without the aid of a superior intelligence. This is refuted in the Shloka by Srila Vāsudevāya. Since the complete whole or the absolute truth is the source of everything, nothing can be independent of the body of the absolute truth. Whatever happens out to the body quickly becomes known to the embodied. Similarly, the creation is the body of the absolute whole. Therefore, the absolute knows everything directly and indirectly that happens in the creation. In the Shruti mantra, it is also stated that the absolute whole or Brahman is the ultimate source of everything. Everything emanates from him, and everything is maintained by him. At the end, everything enters into him. That is the law of the nature. In the Smriti mantra, the same is confirmed. It is said that the source from which everything emanates at the beginning of Brahma's millennium, and the reservoir to which everything ultimately enters, is the absolute truth or Brahman. Material scientists take it for granted that the ultimate source of the planetary system is the sun, but they are unable to explain the source of the sun. Herein the ultimate source is explained. According to the Vedic literatures, Brahma, who may be compared to the sun, is not the ultimate creator. It is stated in the Shloka that Brahma was taught Vedic knowledge by the Personality of Godhead. One may argue that Brahma, being the original living being, could not be inspired because there was no other living being at that time. Here it is stated that the Supreme Lord inspired the secondary creator Brahma in order that Brahma could carry out his creative functions. The Supreme Intelligence behind all the creations in the absolute Godhead, Śrī Kṛṣṇa. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa states that it is he only who superintends the creative energy, Prakriti, which constitutes the totality of matter. Therefore, Sri Vāsudevāya does not worship Brahma, but the Supreme Lord will guide Brahma in his creative activities. In this shloka, the particular words abhijñaḥ and sva-rāṭ are significant. These two words distinguish the Lord Supreme Lord from all the other living entities. No other living entity is either abhijñaḥ or sva-rāṭ. That is, no one is either fully cognizant or fully independent. Even Brahma has to meditate upon the Supreme Lord in order to create. Then what to speak of great scientists like Einstein? The brains of such a scientist are certainly not the products of any human being. Scientists cannot manufacture such a brain. And what to speak of the foolish atheists who defy the authority of the Lord? Even nvayād impersonalists who flatter themselves that they can become one with the Lord are neither abhijñaḥ nor sva-rāṭ. Such impersonalists undergo severe asya to acquire knowledge to become one with the Lord. But ultimately they become dependent upon some rich people who supplies them with the money to build monasteries and temples. Atheists like Ravana or Hiranyakashipu had to undergo severe penances before they could flout the authority of the Lord. But ultimately They were also rendered helpless and could not save themselves when the Lord appeared before them as a cruel death. This is also the case with the modern atheists who also dare to flout the authority of the Lord. Such atheists will be dealt with similarly. For history repeats itself. Whenever men neglect his authority of the Lord, nature and the laws are there to penalize them. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.7. In the well-known verse Yada Yada Dharmasya Glanirvagati Bharata. Whenever there is a decline of dharma and a rise of adharma basically, O Arjuna, then I incarnate myself. That the Supreme Lord is all perfect is confirmed in all Shruti mantras. It is said that in the Shruti mantras that the all perfect Lord threw a glance over matter and thus created the living beings. Living beings are parts and parcels of the Lord, and He impregnated the vast material creation with seeds of spiritual sparks, and thus the creative energies are set in motion to exact so many wonderful creations. And atheists may argue that the God is no more expert than a watchmaker, but of course God is greater because He can create machines in duplicate male and female forms. The male and female forms of different types of machines go on and producing innumerable similar machines without God's further attention. If a man could manufacture such a set of machines that could prevent other machines without His extension, then He would approach the intelligence of the God. But that is not possible for each, as well as not possible for each machine has to be handled individually. Therefore, no one can create as well as God. Another name for God is asamarodha, which means that no one is equal or greater than Him. Paramam Satyam, or Supreme Personality, He is material. The supreme truth is He who has no equal or superior. It is confirmed in the Shruti Mantra. It is said that before the creation of the material universe, there existed the Lord only, who is master of everyone. That Lord instructed Brahma in Vedic knowledge. That Lord has to be obeyed in all respects. Anyone who wants to get rid of the material entanglement must surrender unto Him. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Unless one surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord, it is certain that he will be bewildered. When an intelligent man surrenders into the lotus feet of the Krishna and knows completely that Krishna is the cause of all causes, confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, then only can such an intelligent element become a Mahatma, a great soul. Intelligent man become a Mahatma or great soul, but such a great soul is very seen. Only the Brahma Mahatmas can understand that the Supreme Lord is the primeval cause of all creations. He is Parama or ultimate truth, because all other truths are related to Him. He is omniscient. For Him there is no illusion. Some Mayavadi scholars argue that Srimad Bhagavatam was not compiled by Sri Vāsudevāya, and some of them suggest that this book is a model creation written by someone named Vopadeva. In order to refuse such meaningless arguments, Sridhar Swami points out that there is a reference to the Bhagavatam in many of the oldest Puranas. The first Shloka of the Bhagavatam begins with Gayatri mantra. There is reference to this in the Matsya Puran, which is the oldest Puran in that portion. In that Purana, it is said with reference to the Gayatri mantra in the Bhagavatam that there are many variations of the spiritual instruction beginning with the Gayatri mantra, and there is the history of Vritrasur. Anyone who makes a gift of this great work on a full moon day attains to the highest perfection of life by returning to Godhead. There is reference to the Bhagavatam in other Puranas also, where it is clearly stated that this work was finished in 12 cantos, which include 18,000 slokas. In the Padma Puran also is there to be Bhagavatam. There is to reference to the Bhagavatam's conversation between Gautama and Maharaj Ambarisha. The king was advised therein to read regularly Srimad Bhagavatam if he desired liberation from material bondage under the circumstances. There is no doubt about the authority of the Bhagavatam. Within the past 500 years, many erudite scholars and acharyas like Jiva Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Vallabhacharya and many other distinguished scholars even after the time of the Lord Chaitanya made elaborate commentaries on the Bhagavata. And the creation student would do well to attempt to go through them to better relish the transcendental messages. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur specifically deals with the original and pure sex psychology, ādi-rasa. Devoid of all mundane inhibitory, the whole material creation is moving under the principle of sex life. In modern civilization, sex life is the focal point for all activities. Wherever one returns his face, he sees sex life predominant. Therefore, sex life is not unreal. Its reality is an experience in the spiritual world. The material sex life is but a perverted reflection of the original fact. The original fact is in the absolute truth, and thus, like the absolute truth cannot be impersonal, it is not possible to impersonal and contain pure sex life, right? And thus, the absolute truth cannot be impersonal. It is not possible to be impersonal and create pure sex life. Consequently, the impersonalist philosophers have been given indirect impetus to the abominable mundane sex life because they have overstressed the impersonality of the ultimate truth. Consequently, man without information of the actual spiritual form of sex has accepted perverted material sex life as the all in all. There is a distinction between sex life and the diseased material condition and spiritual sex life. Srimad Bhagavatam will gradually elevate the unbiased reader to the highest perfectional stage of the transcendence. It will enable him to transcend the three modes of material activities: fruitive actions, speculative philosophy, and worship of the functional deities are as included in the Vedic verses. So, Hare Krishna, devotee, this is the first Shloka of the first canto, first chapter. Questions by the sages, and this is very much needed though, because we ourselves forget that who is our creator and what we owe to them basically. So reading Srimad Bhagavatam, chanting about Krishna and doing the seva for Krishna is the only cause of me not dying at this point, right? Because I thought once so there was one text that is written over there, which is by Kapil Muni in third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when he reads the Srimad Bhagavatam to Devavati Devi and gives her diksha, as you have to chant the name of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, daily 16 or 32 rounds of japa. It is said that we basically we have to do this because this increases the prema of us for the Lord basically, right? So why is this needed? Because in the many Puranas like Matsya Purana, Upanishads, Srila Vāsudevāya has proved that Krishna Chandra is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, and for this Leela he has basically transformed himself in a way that everyone loves Krishna, or basically is the original form in 10th canto, which can be seen in the 10th canto basically. So as explained in the start, Vyasadeva was not happy with all the writings or studies that he did for all the Vedas, Puranas, Upanishads and everything. He was not happy, even though Vyasadeva has done everything. He went to his Guru Narad Muni. Narad Muni told him whole Srimad Bhagavatam and told him to write a commentary, or basically a book on Srimad Bhagavatam for people to be easy for them to be easily accessible, because for anyone to get certified or basically battle tested what do we call it, dogs of everything, they won't be able to understand the supreme cause of all causes, Krishna. So this was very much needed, and what we else learn from the first shloka is that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srimad Bhagavatam is the life of a devotee, and everything in this material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world, which can be seen over here. That it is said that under the principle of sex life in modern civilization, sex life is the focal point for activities. If one turns his face, he says sex life predominated. So sex life is not unreal. It is really, its reality is experienced in the spiritual world, right? So it's not that it's something that we are making. No, it's there also. But there's a change. The sex life is cannot be impersonal. It is for Krishna only in the spiritual world. But in the material world, people do it for their own sense gratification. So yeah, these all were the learnings that we got. In the Matsya Purana it stated that any text or spiritual text which has dhi-mahi starts from basically Gayatri mantra, and basically is the introduction of the whole literature that you are basically studying at this point. So this is not a literature, this is Srimad Bhagavatam, is life of a devotee which should be cherished till the last breath. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna. I will just come again in text of tomorrow. Just read this. Dharma projita kaitavatra atra paramo nirmatsarāṇāṁ satāṁ vedam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tap trayo anmulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamune Krite Kim Pararishvara Sagyo hṛdā avruddhitya detyash tra kritibhya sushrubhis tatashanāt. Hare Krishna. Jai Ho. Shloka Prabhupada ki jai. जय श्री राधे, जय श्री श्याम, बोलो श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय, गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय, गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय, राधा रमन लाल की जय, राधा वल्लभ लाल की जय, राधा भाग्य लाल की जय, यमुना महारानी की जय, ब्रजवासियों की जय, अनंत कोटि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, जय जय श्री राधे श्याम की जय. हरे कृष्णा.